Bill O'Reilly here, Tuesday, November 1st, 2022. You're listening to the O'Reilly Update. Here's what's happening across our nation. New poll early this morning says the governor races in New York and Michigan are tied. New York Governor Hochul calls voter concerns about crime a conspiracy. President Biden threatens oil companies with higher taxes. The Supreme Court hears arguments over affirmative action. Also ahead, our first look at the very close Senate races around the country. But first, the upcoming midterms officially, the most expensive campaign in history, $10 billion already spent on TV, radio, and digital ads, passing the previous record set 2 years ago. Total spending will be higher by Election Day. The most expensive races are taking place in Georgia and New York. Now, I just got word that the Trafalgar poll, which is very accurate, has Hochul and Zeldin tied in the New York gubernatorial race. And the same poll has Whitmer and Dixon tied in very blue Michigan. Republicans continue to surge in specific polls, not every poll. New York Governor Hochul dismissing historic crime rates said the Democrat, quote, Republicans are master manipulators. They have this conspiracy thing going, trying to convince people they're not safe in democratic states. The safer places are the democratic states, unquote. Ms. Hochul assumed office in August 2021. Since then, attacks in the New York City subway system up 40%, violent attacks. City shootings up 20%, car theft 33%, armed robberies 25%. And it's run by Democrats. New York is. But let's not bother Governor Hochul with the facts. President Biden threatening oil companies with higher taxes if they don't boost production and drop prices. Said the president, quote, their profits are a windfall from the war in Ukraine. They don't increase production, lower prices, they're going to pay higher taxes and face other restrictions, unquote. Supreme Court hearing oral arguments about whether colleges can use racial quotas when accepting new students. The case involves a group called Students for Fair Admissions. That organization claims administrators at the University of North Carolina and Harvard violate the constitutional rights of Asian and white Americans by prioritizing black students. In a moment, the USA's future turns on the Senate. Right back with some pithy election coverage.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-925-7584 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-925-7584. That's 800-925-7584. What do you have to lose? Call 800-925-7584. Again, 800-925-7584.
Time now for the O'Reilly Update message of the day. There is now little doubt that Republicans will win the House of Representatives 1 week from today. But the powerful Senate is harder to predict. Latest polling in Georgia, for example, has Herschel Walker and Raphael Warnock pretty much tied. As for the governor's race, Brian Kemp, the Republican, leads 51-44 over Stacey Abrams. That's a foregone conclusion. Abrams will lose in Georgia. In the Pennsylvania Senate race, Republican Oz, 44%. Democrat John Fetterman, 49%, according to a New York Times poll, which I do not believe. The other polls have it much closer, and in some, Oz is leading. But we'll see if I'm right. If I'm wrong, come next Wednesday, I will admit all my mistakes. In the Ohio Senate race, Republican J.D. Vance, 48%, Democrat Tim Ryan, 44%. I expect Vance to win that. Arizona governor race, Carrie Lake, 49. She's a Republican. Katie Hobbs, a Democrat, 47. That's a close race, but I think that Ms. Lake will pull it out because Ms. Hobbs refused to debate her, and that will hurt. As we mentioned, the New York governor's race, it was 6 points 2 days ago with Kathy Hochul leading Lee Zeldin, and now, as of this morning, it's a tie. But that's different polling. The Trafalgar poll this morning, however, is a very accurate poll. Texas, Republican Greg Abbott, 52. Beto O'Rourke, 43. It's a lock for Abbott. Florida, Republican Ron DeSantis, 54%. Democrat Charlie Crist, 42%. DeSantis is a lock. Nevertheless, Joe Biden is going down to the Sunshine State this weekend to campaign and raise money for Crist. I mean, it's pretty much over down there, but he's going. Oregon, very interesting race. 3 candidates. The Republican Christine Drazan leads with 39%. Democrat Tina Kotek, 38%. Independent Bessie Johnson, 13%. I don't know how this is going to go. Oregon is a very, very hardcore progressive state because of Multnomah County, that's Portland, which dominates the rest of the state. But if Drazan wins, that's going to be the second biggest upset to Lee Zeldin in New York if he does win. Now, with the economy, open borders, rising violent crime, you would think that it wouldn't be close at all, right? And I have a bunch of liberal friends, and I don't disparage their politics unless I feel that they are not telling the truth. And very few people will do that to me because they know I'm pretty well informed. But when I look at them and I say, how could you vote for Kathy Hochul? I live in New York. And it all comes back to Trump. It still comes back to Trump. It's amazing. These Democrats hate Trump so much that they just can't pull a lever for a Republican no matter what. I'm Bill O'Reilly. I approve the message by writing it. If you'd like more honest news analysis, please visit BillO'Reilly.com. You will learn a lot at this website, and you'll like it. It's fun, too. And please check out my book, Killing the Legends, big bestseller. In a moment, something you might not know. Inflation at its highest level in 40 years, and interest rates are skyrocketing, as you know. Market experts like Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan, predicting recession. So to protect your future, do what I did. Call the only precious metal dealers I trust, American Hartford Gold. They will show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and silver. You can get started with a short phone call. They will place physical gold and silver right at your door or inside your IRA or 401k. They are the highest rated firm in the country with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and thousands of satisfied clients. Please tell them Bill O'Reilly sent you, and they'll give you up to $2,500 of free silver on your first order. Don't wait. You can call them now, 877-444-GOLD, 877-444-GOLD, or text GOLD to 65532. Again, 877-444-GOLD or text GOLD to 65532. Now the O'Reilly Update brings you something you might not know. 70 years ago today, the USA detonated a top-secret weapon in the South Pacific. The blast was the biggest explosion in human history, the equivalent of 10 million tons of TNT. Here is the story behind the hydrogen bomb. In 1942, President Roosevelt authorized the formation of the Manhattan Project to develop the first nuclear weapon, and 2 of them were dropped on Japan to end World War II. By 1949, the Soviets had successfully tested their own atomic devices. The USA responded by launching a program to create more advanced thermonuclear warheads, and the arms race was officially underway. On November 1st, 1952, the USA conducted its first hydrogen test on the Marshall Islands, a series of remote atolls 1,500 miles west of Hawaii. The operation was codenamed Ivy Mike. The bomb weighed 82 tons and stood 3 stories tall. Ivy Mike was detonated at 7:15 a.m. Pacific time. In a fraction of a second, the blast created a fireball half the size of Manhattan. Within 2 minutes, the mushroom cloud reached a height of 40,000 feet. The explosion was a success, but caused catastrophic damage across the South Pacific. All life on the Marshall Islands, including vegetation, was killed in an instant. Nuclear debris fell on ships as far as 35 miles away. Parts of the region remain contaminated to this day. Traces of radioactive material are still being detected at the test site. Rates of blood and bone cancers in the South Pacific close to the detonation site are 15% higher than the national average to this day. And here's something else you might not know. The explosion on the Marshall Islands was just the beginning of America's nuclear program. The Pentagon still operates 22 sites specifically tasked with advancing the nation's atomic arsenal. The U.S. currently holds a stockpile of 4,000 nuclear weapons, the most lethal, the B-83. If dropped above New York City, the B-83 would instantly destroy Manhattan and create a fireball spreading 15 miles in every direction. Nuclear war would destroy the planet, as most people know. Now this.
Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group. Attention Marines, military personnel, families, and contractors who were stationed at Camp Lejeune. Were you present at Camp Lejeune between August 1953 and December of 1987? You may be entitled to significant compensation. For nearly 34 years, those in the Marine Corps' base Camp Lejeune were exposed to contaminated drinking water, resulting in devastating injuries, including several forms of cancer, adverse birth outcomes, Parkinson's disease, and more. North Carolina's procedural laws have prevented victims from getting the justice they deserve, but passage of the Camp Lejeune Justice Act of 2022 would allow you or a loved one to file lawsuit seeking compensation for illnesses and injuries linked to the toxic water. Call today for your free consultation. 800-484-3231. Let our experienced attorneys fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call 800-484-3231. That's 800-484-3231. Again, 800-484-3231.
Thank you for listening to the O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. No spin, just facts, and always looking out for you.